What is up, all you cool cats? Welcome back to Platinum Zero. I just ate some food, so I am a little full, a little burpy, nauseous, whatever. Anyways, today I wanted to do a new thing, which is something I'm pretty sure I tried doing every other video, but it's fine. I wanted to talk about Skyrim. I know it's kind of weird a little bit, but because the game's kind of old now, but it's got that new HD re-release thing. It's on the Switch, which is somewhere I definitely didn't think I'd see that on, but I mean it looks pretty good. So, and also you won't be seeing any Skyrim gameplay in the background unless in the middle of this series kind of thing I'm doing, I get the game on the PS4, then yes, you will be seeing Skyrim gameplay in the background, and maybe it'll pertain to what's actually going on that I'm talking. Yeah. Anyways, I don't like Skyrim in a weird kind of way. It is a good game, but I don't enjoy it very much. And a lot of people always ask me, like, "Oh, is just like, do you not like big old Western CRPGs and such?" Which is wrong. I love Western RPGs and CRPGs. I recently bought Morrowind on the original Xbox, and I've been playing it on my 360 because I don't have a working original Xbox. Which sucks. I would love to play some of my original Xbox games on an original Xbox because you know how backwards compatibility is on the 360. It's terrible. Anyways, so I do love me some CRPGs and Western RPGs, but Skyrim was disappointing to me, and this series that I don't even know what I'm gonna call is gonna be me kind of talking about chunks of the game that I don't enjoy. Now, for the first episode of this thing, I'm gonna do something interesting. I'm gonna talk about the things I enjoy about Skyrim, because, in my opinion, that's what every reviewer should do when talking about a game they don't enjoy or a game they find genuinely bad. Balance it out with a bit of positivity at least. So, what do I actually enjoy about The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim? Well, first off, I like the environment. I've always been a fan of snow. I love me some snow, snowy levels, snowy environment, snow. Love me some snow. Snow is great. It is just basically a really easy way to make your environment look really interesting. And my favorite areas of Skyrim are the ones that are just completely, or at least try to be completely, like, white out. Just so much snow you can barely see past your own nose. I find that super interesting, and it just looks great. Skyrim is a very pretty looking game, arguably, at least for the time. It looks pretty good. It just I just love the snow. I love the aesthetic of the snow. It's just kind of sad that at least console versions without mods, Skyrim it doesn't really give the full effect of snow, because Skyrim is supposed to be a large environment that is almost completely just unlivable because of how cold it is and how it's constantly snowing. So, kind of sucks that we don't get that, but it's whatever. Okay, it is what it is. So, and this is supposed to be the complimentary episode, so I do love the snow. I find, like, the mountaintops snowy. Actually, one of my favorite areas to just hang out in is High Hrothgar, which is where you meet the Greybeards that teach you the way of the voice, let you do the dragon shouts. That stuff's super interesting. I think yeah, that's it. I just like this. Another thing that I kind of sort of like but sort of hate, so it's kind of weird to have it in this video, is how easy Skyrim can be sometimes. I know that sounds weird. I do love me some complicated CRPGs. Like I said, I've been playing Morrowind, and that is really difficult, at least for one of them millennials This is one of those people that's lived through Pokemon Go. It's difficult for me at least. But Skyrim is a really easy game to get into, which I think is it's good, but it has its problems with doing something like that. Like for example, you lose a lot of the RPG elements, but just at its base, at its core idea, the idea of making something more accessible, easier for just completely random people to get into, I find super great. I think like like certain games doing that is totally a fine idea. I'm just totally fine with that. I'm not the kind of person that complains about that unless you go too far. Like the idea of like making like a Dark Souls game super easy to get into and super accessible. It's like that's really stupid. But a game like a series like the Elder Scrolls, the idea of just like allowing people who aren't really into like complicated RPGs could just you play Skyrim. Skyrim's super easy. You press the buttons that do the attacks, and then you attack people and they die. Unlike, let's say, Morrowind, again, because that's my furthest. Well, I technically played Daggerfall, but my furthest experience with really playing an Elder Scrolls game is Morrowind, because I've played that more frequently. I only barely played Daggerfall, but in Morrowind, you press the attack button, your character swings, and they might hit their target. It's dependent on invisible dice rolls, so depending on what your stats are, and the stats of the other character, and like how you attack, and what weapon you're attacking with, and the stats of that weapon, you might hit them, you might completely whiff. So, with Skyrim, you press the attack button, the attack happens, damage happens, and then there you go. So, accessibility is kind of an interesting thing, and I think Skyrim does it kind of well, but also as someone who really loves complicated CRPGs, I'm definitely going to be complaining about that later on, because I do miss me some complicated freaking character development. Skyrim's character models look amazing. Nowadays, you look at them, they don't look super great, but compared to things like Oblivion and Morrowind, of course, they look fantastic. The main race I play as in the Elder Scrolls games are the Khajiit and the Argonians. Because, furries and scalies. I mean, what do you want from me? And in basically every Elder Scrolls game except for Skyrim, Khajiit and Argonians look terrible. They look just utterly horrible. And I do enjoy the fact that in Skyrim, they actually look like cat-like people, lizard-like people, instead of these weird, maybe the weird kind of character models fit more in universe, so me complaining about them is kind of weird, but I do much prefer the models in Skyrim. The tail animations for like the Khajiit look way better, even though they look exceptionally stiff. But I do just enjoy the character models for Skyrim much better. They're obviously, because it's a game that's progressing forward. The technology's better. The people who work on the game are getting better. They have more money behind it, so the things are gonna look better. But you get the point I'm making. The character models have obviously advanced forward as the graphics of the game have advanced. Another thing I really have to compliment Skyrim doing is kind of the Elder Scrolls has always been kind of super in-depth immersive worlds that are huge, and Skyrim feels a bit smaller than the other games because it literally is smaller, but like it also everything is so sparse and just small. It's supposed to be a complimentary video. I think one of the things that Skyrim does well is its immersion in most cases. When you're walking around in the middle of the night, you have this beautiful, just night theme that I wish would just happen in the real world when I'm hanging around the office at night and just sitting around and thinking about making videos, but then I go and play Persona 5 for a couple more hours. I want that nighttime theme to just play in the background. You're probably thinking, "Hey, why doesn't he just put it on a YouTube video in the background?" And to that I say, no, I just want it to happen. I just want to sit here in this room and just hear that music. I don't need to do anything on my own. But Skyrim is kind of an interesting thing. The world is super interesting to me, and it has this habit of just completely immersing you in the world and making it like so interesting. One of my favorite things about Skyrim, and I think Oblivion did this too, is the ability to sit down on chairs. The ability to chop wood to sell to a person to earn an honest yet very slow living. The ability to I want more things like Hearth. The DLC that allows you to purchase your own plot of land and build your house on top of that land with your own resources, or paying your steward to purchase the resources so you can build the house yourself and customize it. I find that super interesting. I wish it was a little bit more in depth, but hey, I'm not gonna complain when I get something that I like. I hope for Elder Scrolls 6 that hopefully comes out. I do really want an Elder Scrolls 6, but hopefully for that game that hopefully will come out, we get a more in-depth version of that already in the game. Because we've had the other Bethesda game. Was this Bethesda? Wait, let me check before I say something stupid. Whatever. Another game that came out that was made. Another game that came out that I believe being Bethesda. I'm not good at developers, but Fallout 4 on the PS4. We had the base building mechanics. Now, shrink the complexity and interestingness of that to just a singular home, or a mansion, if you want to say it like that. I think that'd be super interesting, and it would allow for like maybe some really in-depth customization of your house to kind of make it your own, instead of being like what Skyrim had, where it was just kind of you had a home that you could build up, but it didn't really feel like your home that you were customizing yourself, if that makes any sense. And for more like role-playing purposes, the ability to adopt children and get married, I think that was super interesting. I really enjoyed that. I will still complain to this very day, no matter how my complaints would, are out of like universe and wouldn't make sense, that we don't have Khajiit or Argonian children to adopt, but I guess it makes sense in universe. I'm just going to complain about it because I think that'd be super interesting to add, but whatever. It's Bethesda's universe. They could literally do whatever they want with it. It's say give any excuse as to why there's Khajiit and Argonian children. Another thing I enjoyed from Skyrim, and this one's a bit more nitpicky than the others, is the fact that the third-person camera perspective is actually playable, unlike the other games where it was just not good. It was very bad. And anyone who disagrees with me, come on guys, you have to admit it's not the best. It's definitely improved in Skyrim, where that was actually my main mode of play, because I just kind of like third person sometimes. I just play like that for reasons. But I really genuinely enjoyed playing in the third person, because just it definitely felt better than the previous games. And again, you could just chalk it up to game technology advancing. It's not really anything crazy, but it was just improved all around. Now, sadly, that's gonna be where I'm gonna stop this video for now, because it's getting a bit long, and I've kind of run out of things I enjoy from Skyrim. Now, if you notice, I didn't put in a lot of the mechanics from the game here on this list, because of the fact that I don't enjoy them really that much. I just they have so many problems that I'm going to be addressing in future videos, like the magic system and some of the crafting stuff. I just have really big problems with. So that's what I like about Skyrim. Mostly small nitpicky stuff compared to some of the other things I'm going to be complaining about later. But I hope you enjoyed that. And if you have differing opinions to me, that's great. Tell me about them in the freaking comment section. I would love to hear why you love Skyrim, or my reasons for liking Skyrim are bad, or what you hate about Skyrim. Make your own list if you want. I don't know. You do whatever you want with your life. That's fine. I hope to see you cool cats in the next video.